world free. You set my world free. You set my world free. Yeah. Nothing can compare to. I set myself free. Nothing can compare to. Yeah. I found you in the YPG. You set my world free. I found you in the YPG. I found you in the YPG. You set my world free. I found you in the YPG. You set my world free, nothing can compare to this. You set my world free. Yeah, I set myself free, nothing can compare to this. I set myself free. Say I will not doubt myself, and I'll believe in myself in the YPG as I level up with every move. We'll take it to another level, another level, another. We're going to another level, another level, another level, another. I've been down before. Feel like a whole world just wants my phone. I've been trapped by what they see me for, but now I'm free, free to go. We'll take it to another level, another level, another level, another level, another. We're going to another level, another level, another level, another level, another level, another level, another. You set my world free, nothing can compare to this. You set my world free. Yeah, I set myself free, nothing can compare to this. I set myself free. Say I will not doubt myself, and I'll believe in myself in the YPG as I level up with every move.
What's good, fam? I hope you guys are all doing good this Wednesday afternoon. This is your weekly dosage of the Something Extra, where we're going to be bringing to you something extra and added knowledge, but not just knowledge, but life skills to change your mind, because when you change your mind, you're able to change your life. Today, we're going to be talking about the plateau of danger. And now you might have wondered from the moment you saw the heading or the topic of today, the plateau, what does this have to do with our lives? As a matter of fact, what is a plateau? So I'm going to show you with this graph, and I'm also going to show you with this interesting landmark and one of the wonders of the world in South Africa, which is ironically a plateau too. So in this graph, you see how things appear. You see how everything is going upwards, but eventually it reaches a point in which it's steady. It doesn't grow anymore. It has a slight gradual growth, but then it starts moving in one direction. It starts moving no longer upwards, but it's just moving in a flat line. And when we take that and we bring into consideration this landmark here, which everybody knows, the Table Mountain. The Table Mountain is actually a plateau, which, it goes up, 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 up. You climb up, and then you reach a flat area. Now, what does this have to do with our lives? What does a plateau have to do with our lives? And what are the dangers which we can find in a plateau? What are the dangers to look out for? It's exactly what we're going to talk about. So the relevance of the plateau is specifically in the fact that there is growth, and then it reaches a phase where there's no more growth. And in life, there is always, we've said this a couple of hundred times before, that in life there is always room for improvement. And the worst situation a human being can reach is a moment in which they feel like there's no more need to grow. There's no more need there, or there is no more space to go higher than this. For example, how many people, I'm sure you've been to a place, whether it's a school or an institution, in which you will see so many trophies there. You find a cabinet stacked with trophies. And I usually love to see cabinets because I'm a sucker for trophies. I love that kind of stuff. And I love winning and I love competition. So it gets me thinking every time to go and see what the trophy was for and when was it from. And you'll see sometimes those trophies are from years ago. And you'll be looking for the trophy which is most recent. You'll see something from the 90s or the 80s. And then you'll wonder, where are the recent ones? Where's the one of today? Where's the one of this year, excuse me? Or at least last year or 2-3 years max ago. And sometimes you don't find that. So it goes to show that that place, that institution in that specific segment might have reached a plateau where they no longer grow, they no longer win. And as we always say, we're not always going to win. We're always going to have to deal with situations and moments in our lives where we're not going to win. And that's life. That's how it is. But I'm talking about the scenario in which a person has reached a plateau and they no longer win. Think about that team. If you are with me, an Arsenal fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because we won in the past, and we haven't raised a significant trophy since 2004. That is a while ago. Some of y'all weren't even born when Arsenal last raised a Premier League trophy. So they reached a plateau where they no longer grew. And they came second 3 times in a row. And let's see if this year they'll be able to win anything. If you were a supporter of the World Cup, if you watched the World Cup, you'll know, for example, Brazil, who was once the giants in football, have reached a plateau. As a matter of fact, in their case, I think they've reached a little bit of a dip where they're no longer growing. When they reached that plateau, they have not won a World Cup since 2002. So the danger of a plateau comes when somebody thinks, I'm too good and what I've done has been enough for me to not worry. But you don't know that somebody else is going to seek to outgrow, even if your plateau is very high, even if your plateau has reached the very top. How many, for example, musicians have become one-hit wonders? They were one-hit wonders or are one-hit wonders. They drop a track, everybody talks about that track for a couple of months or maybe throughout that year. Once that track is no longer the hype of the moment, the artist also dies out because he thinks that that song is enough to take his career through. How many people pass on one exam and they think, I've got it, I'm sorted, I'm good with this, and they reach a plateau where they no longer want to do more. They get one distinction and they reach a plateau. Instead of fighting and striving for much more, they're okay with that. It is so dangerous to reach a plateau because we never reach our best potential. Even if we were reaching our potential, we grow every day. We improve every day. We learn every day. We better ourselves every single day. So we are specifically 3 days into the last month of the year, which means we have about 28 days, less than 28, because this day is almost ending. There's been over 16 hours of this day is gone. So we've got just a few more hours to go, 8 hours till this day ends. So less than 28 days before this year ends. And I'd love for you and for each and every one of us to think and ask ourselves, have I reached a plateau in my life? Have I reached a phase in which I don't have any more growth? I don't have anywhere else to go up, to increase, to improve myself. I don't know where I'm headed. I've reached so much. I've accomplished a lot in my life, but I've been stuck. A plateau gets you stuck. When you arrive at the plateau, you usually don't realize in the beginning because like the graph, you'll notice that there's a growth. There is that growth. And in the beginning, it continues going up, but eventually the person doesn't feel it, that it actually, he or she has reached a plateau. He or she has reached a flat situation, a moment in their lives where they are no longer going to grow. So I want you to ask yourself, have you reached a plateau? Have I reached a plateau in my life? Has the VYG reached a plateau where we're only doing the same things? We've done certain things this well, and now there is that common phrase, you don't touch a winning team, which means if you're doing well, don't change the team. But you need to understand that that team is going to be beat eventually. And that if you don't prepare yourself, maybe the plateau, you haven't reached the plateau yet, but you are heading towards a plateau because you're not seeking to grow more. You're not seeking to learn more. You're not seeking to learn more, to better, to improve, to know more. So that's going to get you into this dead end of a plateau. Because a plateau is also another way of saying the comfort zone, the no growth zone. You're not going to grow from there because now you're either too afraid of taking risks to do more because you feel like what you've accomplished is enough, or you're too comfortable where you are and you think that you don't need to grow more. And that's the problem, because growth is not just about what you're achieving, whether it's about winning more trophies or about making more money but it is about learning more. There is an immense danger in reaching a plateau for you, for me, for each and every one of us. So once again, look at this graph of the plateau. I want you to check it out. Look at this graph. And as you look at this plateau, ask yourself, have I reached this in my life? Because as I said, the plateau makes us feel like we no longer need to improve. We no longer need to give more. So here's the task I have for you guys. I'm keeping it quite simple today, and I'm not going to extend this much longer. Perhaps you're the kind of person who's only living in the glory of the past. I remember when we were in high school and we would look at our results, we would say that, wow, when I was in primary school, I was killing it. And we're like, wow, high school is showing its flames. Or maybe in varsity, when you realize that high school wasn't that difficult rather, because in varsity, it's a lot realer, a lot closer to reality. So if you go into high school with a plateau mentality, you're going to lose, because high school is much more difficult than primary, as tertiary is a lot more difficult than high school. So the plateau mindset is our comfort zone. It makes us to lead our lives from the glory of yesterday, an eroded glory, Just like those trophies in the cabinet, old trophies collecting dust. Perhaps you've been living in the glory of your past. Perhaps yesterday you did awesome. And they usually say, celebrate your victory for 24 hours or cry about your defeats for 24 hours. But after that, roll up your sleeves and get working again. So regardless of whether you won or lost, because at times we fight back when we lose, which is a great trait and very necessary for survival, if I should say that. But also when we win, we need to still go back to the drawing boards, because if not, we are going to reach a plateau. Perhaps you reached a plateau in your life where you don't even know what to do anymore. A plateau where you feel like, what else should I do about my life? You've maybe even achieved quite a few things, but you've reached a point where you're even confused because you don't know that there's so much more that you can obtain. There's so much more that you can achieve. So I want to say to you, get away from that. The plateau is your comfort zone, and the comfort zone doesn't help you to grow anywhere anymore. Stop living by the glory of the past. Stop living bragging about the trophies like these ones you see on your screen right now. As you can see, these are old trophies just collecting dust. They talk about the glories of yesterday, but they don't talk about the glories of today. Yesterday's glory, you'll celebrate it for a while. Yesterday's victories, you'll celebrate it for a while. But after that, if you don't maintain that, you'll be forgotten. And that's what makes a difference between winners and winners. It's not about winning. We had an amazing, our last major VYG event was our June 16 event. We didn't manage to have one this year after that. But I have to say to you that our next event in February must be bigger than that. Otherwise, we've reached a plateau. I don't want the VYG to be stuck where it is. I'm glad with our improvements. When I look back to 2025, I know the VYG took a leap. We had the ladies going to Brazil, but if I accept that it's a plateau, I'm not going to just go on about the ladies who went to Brazil, the youth who had a competition and went to Brazil, because I want us to do even more. I want us to do much bigger, much better. I want us to do even greater things. However, if I have a comfort zone mindset or the famous plateau mindset, we're going to be stuck. We're going to be talking about what we did years ago, but we will not be talking about today. If you have to talk about your life now, today, what are the achievements you have? What are the achievements already for this year that you have, or maybe only talking about last year? Or the famous, can 2025 just finish now? But guess what? 2026 will come with its challenges. And that part of the graph where it's going up is actually the most arduous part, especially once you've reached a plateau, because you need to keep improving. So no matter how many victories you've obtained, how many achievements you've achieved, don't be comfortable with it. Fight for more. Go higher, go up, and keep pushing. Don't accept the plateau to stop you from reaching your best potential. Don't allow the plateau to stop you from being the best version of you, or the version of yourself you haven't known yet. Because there's much more for you to give. There's much more for you to do. There are many more accomplishments for you to achieve than you could ever imagine. So get away from the plateau. You can do better than that. You can achieve the unfathomable. I love that word. It sounds very difficult to say, but I love saying it, which you could never imagine. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. The dangerous plateau, or the plateau of danger. When you keep it there and you tell yourself, I'm okay, I've done this, I've done that, I'm fine. Or I achieved years ago, yesterday, I achieved yesterday, and you try to take your victories of yesterday into tomorrow. Our victories of yesterday aren't valid for tomorrow. They may be valid a little bit until today, but eventually life moves on. Somebody else is going to come to grab what's ours. And if you don't have the right vision, the right mindset, you're going to reach the plateau that's going to stop you from being what you have to be and from reaching what you have to reach. Remember, I repeat this once again, never be comfortable with your achievements. There will always be room for improvement. No one is perfect. Where is it that you can improve? What are the things you can do better? Learn to debrief. A very important thing to do is to debrief. After a project, a match, whatever it is that you had to do, after an exam, go and review what was it that you could have done even better. You got 90%, where's the 10% you could have got? You got 99%, where's that 1%? PJ, what if I got 100%? Make sure you get another 100%. What is it that you can do to get another 100%? So there will always be room for improvement. Don't miss out on that. Don't get that wrong. So that's it from me, fam. And I hope you guys are taking good care of yourselves. Those of you who have already traveled for these December holidays, please be safe. Please take care of yourselves. Please see to it that every decision you make is a result of good decisions, good lessons, sound lessons which you received. I hope we as the VYG throughout and across this year, we managed to help you become a better version of yourself, even if it was just one lesson. And I'm here to promise to you guys that 2026 is going to be a banger for us. With many challenges, with many hardships. It's not going to be a walk in the park, not at all. It is going to come with its hardships and challenges, but we are going to make it because we're not about to be stuck into a plateau. So reminding you, if you guys need our help, regardless, maybe you have or you haven't traveled, but you want to chat to us, don't forget that you can DM us and chat to us. We as the VYG fam are here to take care of you. Either myself, Dali, my rib, or one of the amazing mentors who usually help us in this work will be more than willing to reply in the DMs and take good care of you guys. But keep pushing. You're not alone, because as the VYG slogan says, we are together as one. This is going to be one of the last times I'm going to say and ask you guys where we at, and I'm going to tell you that VYG, there ain't no stopping us, because 2026, we're going to have a brand new shout out, and our retrospective will be on the 1st of January for you guys to review the amazing year we had. And that is to remind us not to be stuck in the plateau and remind us that we can do much more, much better. Got it? That's what's up. We out of here.